It's a hazy summer day here in Incheon, but my spirits are pretty bright because I'm getting to test out a brand new airline that I've never flown before, and I'm also getting to visit a country that I've never been to before. Join me as I review Air Astana in business class on my flight to Almaty, Kazakhstan. Hello, YouTube travelers, and welcome to the Gentleman of Fortune channel. Join me on my travels around the world, and together we'll review the latest in flight and lounge offerings, find out how various airlines' first and business class products stack up, sample their catering, and indulge in their finest champagnes. Together, we'll experience the best of the best, and maybe some more obscure ones too. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss a thing. And now I invite you to sit back and relax as we get this next adventure underway. Now this Air Astana flight is scheduled to depart Incheon just after 12 p.m., though it quickly becomes apparent that there's some type of mechanical issue with the aircraft. The leading edge slats on the wings are in the down position, and I'm watching a maintenance technician run back and forth and up and down portable stairs they've positioned under each wing. There's no discernible announcement where I'm sitting a few rows away from the gate, but a check of the monitors reveals that the boarding time has been pushed back. Then, half an hour later, again without a discernible announcement, the boarding process begins. Here's my first up-close look at Air Astana's Boeing 767 aircraft. This aircraft isn't particularly new, but I am impressed with how clean and fresh the business class cabin looks. This is the seat I'll be riding in today, 2K. Let's take a look around the seat. There's a decent-sized TV monitor, a little pocket for a water bottle, as well as a literature pocket. Over on the side, you've got a large flat surface that you can store items on top of, as well as the controls for the seat. Each seat has a nice pillow with a traditional design on it, which matches the antimacassar on the back of the seat. At your shoulder, you've got a personal reading light, as well as an AC outlet, USB port, and noise-canceling headphones. Now returning back to the literature pocket, let's take a look at what's inside here in addition to the emergency card. Here's something that's relatively rare these days, an actual in-flight magazine. In addition to this reading material, there's also a publication that outlines the onboard entertainment. Now here's a look at the legroom, which you can see is ample while you're in the seated position. And under the monitor, you have a little cubby that becomes the footwell when the seat is reclined into the bed position. It's worth noting that because of the seat design, this particular seat is fairly exposed to the aisle. In contrast, the seat in front of me is against the windows and seems to have a little more privacy. The two center seats alternate thusly as well. Now to control the IFE, you've got this little remote that's in this flap here. Ooh, there's a lot of nasty crumbs in here as well. Back to the little remote, there's a black square which acts as a mouse pad, allowing you to slew a cursor around on the screen to control it. And here's a closer look at the headphones. Underneath the headphones, there's a pair of ear cup covers. So these headphones are made by Meridian, and they seem to feature some decent padding for comfort. One other thing to note is that there's no personal air vents, but fortunately they kept the cabin temperature pretty comfortable. While I was getting settled into my seat, they came around with some welcome drinks. I chose the cherry lemonade, and they also offered me a glass of Taittinger champagne. They also presented me with a menu card, as well as a card that had their drink options on it. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time to peruse the menu offerings. After a few minutes, the flight attendant came back by to take my lunch selection. I was actually quite impressed that they took the meal orders of the ladies in the business class cabin first, instead of just starting at the first row. This meant that some options weren't available by the time they got to me, but it's still nice to know that chivalry's not dead everywhere. Now the tray table's a little bit difficult to manipulate, but there are instructions etched into it, at least on how to close it. With the tray table finally in place, let's take a look at the amenity kit. It's presented in this pouch by Porsche Design. So what's inside of this thing? First up, we've got some socks, and they feature a no-slip tread. Next, we've got a eye mask. Now we've got some Porsche Design hand and body cream. There's also a tube of face cream, a refreshing towelette, a bottle of mouthwash, a chapstick, again branded by Porsche Design, there's a dental kit, a pair of earplugs, and this little black Air Astana branded plastic thing. Here we've got a fancy shoehorn, and we've got a Air Astana branded pen. Next up, we've got a comb. So that's pretty much everything you could expect. Is there anything else in here? Let's see. We got the promotional material. Here's the card from Porsche Designs. Oh, and one last thing. If you're wondering what that little black compact was, it's a shoe shine kit. Now, after our little delay, they tell us that we're finally ready to go, and it appears that the leading edge slat is in the up position again. Time for our takeoff out of Incheon. Finally, we get up above the haze and break through the clouds into the beautiful blue sky above. Not too long after this, the window shades are lowered and the cabin lights are dimmed. They do this for the benefit of a woman with a newborn baby that she's trying to put down for a nap, but it results in some of the footage having a blue tint to it. Here's a very blue look at a hot towel. Now here's a quick peek at the in-flight entertainment offerings. They don't seem to have too many movies, but considering that none of their flights are particularly long, should be plenty to keep you entertained. If the specifics of this don't interest you, you can jump ahead to the 10-minute mark, and we'll get into the food service. Before too long, a bar cart was wheeled down the aisle. I opted to try this Almaty apple cider. For those of you that don't know, Almaty is known as the city of apples, so it seems like an appropriate drink. This is served with some pretzels and wasabi peanuts, as well as a glass of sparkling water. Next up, a tray is brought out which features the appetizer of smoked salmon and prawn. There's also a bread roll and a salad on the tray. And I love this little feature. The salt and pepper shaker are designed to resemble a yurt, which is a traditional portable Kazakh house. For my entree, I had the lamb tagine, and though the appearance isn't incredible, it was flavorful and quite tasty. They also offered a selection of warm breads, including garlic bread. After the main course, a trolley with a selection of teas, coffees, and desserts was wheeled down the aisle. In addition to this coconut mousse, I was offered a selection of Kazakh chocolates. By the time the meal service was done, we were a good ways over China, and I was eager to take a nap and get some sleep to make up for last night. Here you can see the seat, which has been converted to the bed position, featuring a pillow, as well as a fleece-type blanket. It wasn't particularly cold, so I used the blanket more as a mattress pad and slept on top of it. When I woke up, I felt like I'd been in a fight. I had so many sore spots from all the various pressure points on the bed. Turns out it's not very comfortable. It beats sitting upright, though. And anyway, this flight's not terribly long. When I woke up, I tried one of their signature cocktails, which is the Brutal Baileys. Actually, I'd ordered this drink before I laid down for my nap, but the flight attendant forgot about it. But to her credit, she remembered and brought it as soon as I woke up. Shortly after that, we looped around and started our final descent for Almaty, coming in from the west. It gave me some great views of the city and the mountains, and allowed me to get oriented. Overall, I was quite impressed with this flight. There were a couple of misfires or things that could have been done better, but they were outnumbered by the things that surprised me. I'll give the crew credit for being very friendly and hospitable. Have you ever flown Air Astana? What did you think? Did you have a similar experience? I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. I'm sure some of the other viewers would be interested to hear about your experiences as well. Upon arrival into Almaty, we had a smooth touchdown and a relatively long taxi to the terminal building. There were a lot of interesting aircraft that you wouldn't expect to see at a normal Western airfield. You can definitely see the Russian influence here. I had anticipated that we would probably park at a remote stand, need to deplane via air stairs, and then take a bus to the terminal, so I was impressed to find that there was an air bridge. It made for a quick disembarkation. I was off the plane and through immigration in a matter of moments and out into a sweltering Almaty afternoon. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it useful, and if you did, that you'll consider subscribing and leaving a like. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And as always, until the next video, safe travels.